Chi Foundation continues to provide protective supplies as New York epidemic rises. Taoyuan City Government expands public library branches and mobile access to books. Okay, the DaAi Headlines, I'm Maggie Tsai. Thank you for joining us. In the United States, in New York City's COVID-19 epidemic continues to spread and the confirmed cases has increased. Tzu Chi Foundation has consistently provided the needed supplies to the medical staff, hoping to protect them as they safeguard the patients' lives.
As New York City experiences a surge of COVID cases, some of the poorer communities, like the Bronx, are especially vulnerable. At Bronx Care Hospital, they've been inundated with COVID patients, and with their supplies running low, the Tzu Chi Foundation has consistently provided aid.
Right now, we are still at the peak of COVID admissions. Currently, there are about 340 patients in the hospital, with about 100 of them on ventilators right now. The ICUs and the expanded ICUs, they're all full. And I was just worried about, do I have enough masks?
It was a month ago that I reached out, because this is the second supply. The first time I reached out, and they were really running short of masks, N95 masks, shields, everything. They're really running short. From there, we got a shipment within like a few days. I think it was like 3 days. They shipped, I think, like a few thousand masks.
Everything helps. This is such an amazing amount of relief, because you're tense. Do you have enough stock and all that stuff? And you have this deadly infection that's already in the hospital, and we're taking care of people.
The Bronx is one of the most diverse and underserved districts in the city and has been hit severely by COVID-19.
So the Bronx community is extremely vulnerable community. They're extremely vulnerable because there is a high incidence of immunocompromised patients.
We were expecting the worst, and we are seeing the worst.
Do you want to take another one just in case?
I've been a physician for more than 30 years. This has been the roughest thing to witness and be part of. So, you know, it's not how much, it's how timely it was and how easy it was to get the help we can. I'm so grateful for what you guys are doing, and you helping the neediest population in the country right now. But I'm not ignoring what's up there in future. I think we've devastated the communities in many ways, and the healing will take a very long time and lots of resources.
Thousands of medical staff around the world have sacrificed their lives due to the coronavirus epidemic. The main reason is they lack adequate protective equipment and take care of patients at the front lines. Tzu Chi volunteers in England, in addition to sending medical masks, cloth masks, and protective face shields, they also deliver equipment to many medical facilities in London.
These are all medical personnel who have sacrificed their lives to the COVID-19 epidemic. They're also someone's father, mother, husband, or wife. And in England, at least 49 medical personnel died due to infections related to a lack of epidemic prevention equipment.
The masks on hand have already been distributed, so I decided to start making protective face shields. 2 weeks ago, we procured a face shield material, as I hope to get it done as soon as possible so we can send them to frontline medical staff.
During the epidemic prevention period, even if you stay at home, you can also unite with others, creating more strength.
Volunteers can make cloth masks, some can make face shields. So in fact, everyone has been mobilized. There are 15 points in England which are also contributing together.
Through online teaching videos, these older women are learning from scratch how to make face shields and disinfect them before packing it for delivery to a nursing home and 2 family clinics.
With Dharma Joy, we are now ready to take these masks to the medical unit.
Well, we're really grateful for this really kind donation. It's going to make such a big difference to us here, protecting our staff and our patients.
From deep winter to late spring, vigilance against the spread of this viral epidemic needs to be sustained.
India has locked down the country to prevent the pandemic. Consider that many religious personnel are lacking prevention supplies when they give comforts to people. Tzu Chi worked with many charity organizations to provide timely help and aid supplies to the impoverished in need. Here's our worldwide report. India has locked down the country to prevent the epidemic. Many who lived on part-time jobs have faced the crisis of losing jobs. Tzu Chi worked with Calcutta Teresa Nunnery to provide 100 kilograms each of rice, millet, and flour, as well as 10,000 masks. The police will help to host distributions every other week at the slumber areas to support 1,000 households each time.
Most local residents feel anxious, so the religious groups have been a great comforting power. Many nuns and priests don't have masks and preventative items, but they still need to fulfill their mission, so we provided antivirus supplies despite religious differences.
Father Gazev Dudolin has mentioned that his hometown Milan is desperately in need of prevention supplies. Hence, Tzu Chi has purchased and delivered 20,000 masks to Chameleons Milano to help.
So far, we have provided prevention supplies to 29 countries. There are 78 more countries that asked us for help. We will continue to deliver aid supplies to places in need according to our preparations.
Tzu Chi crossed religious boundaries to give timely help to the underprivileged groups and spread the great love to all human beings. Coronavirus is highly contagious and medical staff has to risk their own health when caring for COVID-19 patients. As a Tzu Chi volunteer in Kadam makes protective clothing for medical personnel, she also attends to jinsi aphorisms to the clothing. She hopes that these words of wisdom can give medical staff some positive energy.
This is how the clothes originally look, then we fill it like this.
The volunteer folds the cloth, ties a bow tie, and then adds the jinsi aphorism to it.
Originally, we simply had the words "we care for you." Then I thought when the medical staff is really tired, reading jinsi aphorism can enrich their mind and give them positive energy. Disinfect and wash your hands. Then we will start sewing the protective clothing.
As medical protective clothing is running low, volunteers are rushing to make them.
Our sewing machines are a lot like the ones used in factories, and we work more slowly than them. We might only make 3 to 4 of them in a day.
Upon learning that Lo Su Ching is making protective clothing, Li Peng Chu has come to help out.
Sister Jingshen has to do the work, so I told her since I cook, I will bring some food over here. Then she can eat a simple meal and start working.
Li Baozu does not adopt a vegetarian diet. When she saw me cook vegetarian food, she asked me to teach her. Then she started cooking vegetarian food for us until now.
As this Tzu Chi volunteer makes protective clothing for medical personnel, she also uses jinsi aphorism to express her appreciation and best wishes for them.
In Butterworth, Malaysia, some student volunteers are making protective clothing for the medical personnel. While sewing the protective clothing can be a challenge for some volunteers, they're still happy that they can do their share to help protect the medical staff. Let's take a look.
The materials for protective clothing are transported to Butterworth community after being cut in textile factory. This place is a bread and breakfast run by city volunteers. During epidemic time, it has become a place to make fabric masks and protective clothing.
There are about 200 and 300 pieces of materials. In order for our driver to deliver them to the volunteers' cars, we need to separate them here. We usually divide them into batches of 20 to 30 pieces of materials.
Did you see the road barriers? Now that the epidemic is more serious, we do not want the volunteers to come outside. We try to deliver the materials to their houses for them. The volunteers want to help provide the medical staff with protective clothing.
City volunteer Hu Abi has now used the old sewing machine at home for 8 years.
I thought it would be easy to make the shoe covers. Then I realized that it is not easy. If I do not do it well, you will miss the arts. So it is similar to cultivation. When you are doing it, you will realize it is not easy.
For Ling Mei Qing, sewing is an easy task. Besides doing her share, she's also willing to help teach other volunteers in the community.
Our responsibilities are to care for our volunteers or members of the community. If our volunteers or residents encounter some problems while sewing, we can help them. For instance, if they need a lesson on the use of thread or needle, we can provide some assistance and care.
This sewing machine has accompanied me for 40 years. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to make some protective clothing for medical personnel.
During the epidemic time, the sewing volunteers are doing what they can to support the medical staff as they safeguard the patients' lives.
Taoyuan City's attendance rate for the library ranks 4th as compared to the rest of the 6 major cities. To rid of its cultural desert wasteland, the city government spent about $7.6 billion building new library branches and purchasing new books. It has even launched a mobile library campaign, which leads to rural elementary each month so the children here can have easy access to books.
请问你可以带很多玩具来吗？
希望你带多一点侦探类的书和少年小说。
可以带多一点有很多字的，然后又刚刚好的字的书吗？
Who can fulfill these children's wishes? The children gather in front of the shelves, excited about the books. On the other end, students are lined up with a bunch of books in their arms. The mobile library has just arrived at the campus and the students have already surrounded it.
DIY 的书，因为可以做很多东西。这是小倩，这是小鹅，然后这是姐姐。
Each month, the Books on Wheels will drive to schools in areas like Fuxing District 1 or 2 times. On this day, it is at Gaoyi Elementary, which has the highest borrowing rates of the district. And the books the children like are really unexpected.
心理学的或是护士的。
为什么？
因为我大学想要读新生一专。
Children from the mountain area do not like comic books. They like chapter books or books which teach them how to make things.
东西的书。
The children love learning from cookbooks and exploring the pages of young adult novels. Even if the school's library gets new books each year, it doesn't satisfy the children's thirst for knowledge. For example, inside Fuxing District, the closest public library to Gaoyi Elementary is 20 to 30 kilometers away, and it's a 40-minute car ride down the mountain. And it's even further for students in Guanghua or Baleng Elementary, which is further up the mountain.
Last year, through the mobile borrowing system, 80,000 books were borrowed, and those who participated in borrowing or other mobile library activities were about near 100,000 people.
Since 2008, the traveling library has made its rounds, and in more recent years, 5 more routes were scheduled to include more mountain and coastal regions. To adapt to the reading interests of different regions, the books inside are adjusted about every 2 weeks by the librarian on board.
Each time I visit a place, I observe what kind of books they like to read, and I also ask them, why do you like reading those types of books? I hope my curiosity will encourage them to read more. That will make my job worthwhile.
It has helped the student to develop a habit of reading, which then increase their reading material quality. So I think the mobile library has been a good support of increasing reading on campus.
As soon as class is over, the children head to the bookmobile, which has gull-wing doors. Inside the vehicle are shelves which hold about 2,000 books, enough to satisfy the reading levels of all ages, as well as further spread the knowledge to more people.
It is said that when you add rock sugar to the banana and chat them in water for 10 minutes, it can stop coughing if you eat it every day for a week. A traditional Chinese medicine doctor say that this does not work, but worsen the cough. Instead, you can try baking an orange with salt. Let's see.
An online rumor says that you can cut a banana into smaller pieces, add rock sugar on top, and heat for 10 minutes in water. It can cure cough if you eat the whole thing every day for a week. Do you believe it?
Fruits in Taiwan are mostly sweet, so if you add the rock sugar, it will make your cough even worse. If you happen to have acute cough with a lot of phlegm, where there is inflammation, it will stimulate our trachea and make you cough more.
Stop believing in this rumor. The Chinese medicine doctor has one good remedy. That is baking an orange with salt, which people should be very familiar with.
Water with higher density of salt can destroy the bacteria and stop the inflammation. I'd recommend baking the orange with skin, because the skin has some elements that can calm our breath and stop the cough. After baking, it can also reduce the cold nature of the orange.
Although salt roasted orange works, the Chinese medicine doctor emphasized that there are many reasons for coughing, such as tuberculosis, acid reflux, or postnasal drip. It is better to seek medical help to receive the right treatment. If you always rely on folk remedies, it may make your condition worse.
During the battle with COVID-19, medical workers' hours are long and busy, thus it cuts into their breaks and mealtime. Worried about medical workers' health, the Philippines Tzu Chi tried to deliver 6,000 packs of the 2-flavor 5-grain powders for the hospital's workers.
Safeguarding the health of others, these angels in white often neglect their stomach. Thus, Tzu Chi is here with a solution: instant 5-grain powder drink.
Working 24 hours a day or 8-hour shifts is enough to deplete one's reserves. So very important is that they will receive this caloric intake in lunchtime and on breakfast, so that it can augment whatever food they have, and it can be on the go.
Convenient in different flavors, each packet contains near 100 calories. One can just add hot water and it's a snack you can drink.
I was told that it's made of black rice and quinoa, and it's very healthy. I feel like this drink can help the doctors, nurses, the healthcare workers to serve their patients better, because if somebody gets hungry while at work, they can just put water, and then the drink can be a meal on its own.
This cup of hot beverage can replenish their energy, becoming a big support of the medical staff.
In Chengdu, Sichuan, there was a senior volunteer, Li Xiangzhen. In April, when she was tidying up the fields, she accidentally fell into the valley and passed away at the age of 72. City volunteers were mourning her death and held an online memorial service to remember her.
我叫李香珍，我今年70岁了。
She and a group of female volunteers who live in Dazhou traveled 10 hours to Chengdu to volunteer. They eat and live together. Tzu Chi volunteers call them Dazhou mothers. In April, when she was tidying the fields, she fell into the river valley and passed away at the age of 72.
I'm mourning her since 2008. I have known her for 12 years.
The news came so suddenly that Tzu Chi volunteers were very sorrowful. They went to her hometown and witnessed her final journey. Living in a simple house, although her life was frugal, it was warm and plentiful.
Her life was always easy and simple, yet she's not mean about helping others.
In the online memorial service, Tzu Chi volunteers in Sichuan recalled her past and many burst into tears.
Many people call her Mother Xiangzhen, who always cared for everyone quietly with a smile.
Now there is one less person in the group of Dazhou volunteers traveling to Chengdu together, but the warmth she has given will continue to accompany everyone in the volunteer path.
我在慈济里面，我也学到了很多东西，怎么做人，怎么做事。社会上这些享受、吃喝玩乐、跳舞，我不习惯。我做不了大事，我可以做点小事啊。
To promote vegetarianism, DaAi City volunteers have made 1,000 vegetarian rice balls for 3 days to encourage the neighborhood to adopt a healthier diet and strengthen there as they distribute delicious rice balls. On DaAi Street, a group of volunteers were busy cutting, frying, and mixing cooking ingredients for making vegetarian rice balls. Everyone came voluntarily.
I'm grateful for the help of many volunteers. I also pray for the world peace.
There are many kind-hearted people. Everyone gathered together to donate money and efforts.
To respond to Tzu Chi's vegetarian campaign, they've made 1,200 rice balls for 3 days. More and more people came to get the delicious rice balls every day. Other than the city center and government departments, they also deliver the rice balls to remote villages. Volunteers greeted each household to deliver the rice balls filled with love and warmth.
There are many ingredients and veggies in it. Hopefully everyone can start adopting a vegetarian diet after this occasion.
One more people adopting the vegetarian diet means one more good affinity is being formed, which is also the best way to eliminate the epidemic. North Toronto Tzu Chi volunteers receive requests from a domestic violence shelter for aid supplies and spend 10 days together and deliver the items. Take a look and see you next time.